map. Consulate, another kind of looking with that new ban system as to how teams are going to maybe target the map more so than the teams.
Well, we load in then for the opening ban phase, and we could see the bullet counts in play. 8 for DarkZero, and they will wager 2 SSG, reloading 1 with a total of 7.
Well, that's the confidence then from DarkZero's perspective. They come into this thinking they can get all 2 bullets to go to that magical number 10. For SSG, playing it safe, which is a fine strategy if you win this. Now, this is actually a really good opportunity to, again, kind of help out with this bullet system. If SSG win, they go to 8, but it also means DarkZero go to 6 because they've wagered 2. So DarkZero have a higher risk-reward factor. For SSG, it's lowered. It's minimum. It's as minimal risk as you can go. It means they can only go as high as 8 and then only as low as 6. So either way, whoever loses this match is going to be on 6 bullets.
Jeez.
Quick math.
You're good with it. You're better than me.
Not letting that get past me. Technical pause, but if you want, we've got the bans. Blackbeard, Dockerby has been banned out by DarkZero. Of course, they are defending first up. And Kaid and Warden have been banned out by Spacestation. But it seems like it is just a headset issue, so I don't imagine this should take too long.
They should be able to switch it out rather promptly. We've been pretty blessed here on the B stream for today in terms of the promptness of the limited pauses that we have had.
Well, it gives you an opportunity, guys. I'm going to throw you under the bus here. You've got the bans here. We've got some time. It's a tech pause. Early thoughts here into the relation of these bans going into a map such as Consulate and maybe what that may change. Again, because this is that new ban system, we haven't seen, obviously, Consulate with the ban system and the changes in relation to CGX, etc., and the way teams are going to have to navigate. And straight away, I mean, like the Dockerby Blackbeard, it's all about that kind of entry.
Largely on meta, right? Very versatile across any of the maps in the 9-map pool that we do have. I think defensively they're probably narrowed in a little bit more. Kaid is rather effective when you think about some of the exterior breaches on this site, and then going to lean itself into the Bandit if you want electricity and being rather effective. You think about top exterior wall, you've got garage. There's also the odd hatch here or there where the Kaid, of course, will now be nullified, and so that could open things up a little bit more for the attack, force the defense into a bit more of a roam game to contest those particular areas of the map. Warden as well, an intriguing one. And with no Ying in mirror to that, not to be confused with Mirror the Operator, mirrored in terms of selection, she's now going to be very, very powerful on attack grab when you don't have that hard counter available.
Well, match of the day, Billy, I think, on this one. And the bullets are wagered there as well for DZ, so they've got something on the line here. Not as much for SSG, but I think it's still also the kind of match that when it comes to these North American teams, there's that inter-region rivalry that's always going to be there when you think about also the trash talk that comes through when we typically get teams like SSG and DZ. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of that to close out the day here on the B stream, because I've very much hyped up this game, at least for myself and maybe for others. And I know there's certainly going to be a lot of interest in how this match does play out, because North America yesterday was flawless. I mean, they were absolutely sensational. And coming into today, now you've got this NA matchup, which I think is just absolutely tantalizing. And heading into day 3, you know, you want to win this one, and the confidence builder would be certainly there. Even if SSG win and they only get the 1 bullet, you know, that's 2 wins in a row. That's a good start to the tournament. Things are looking great. Newest has been an amazing addition. Everything's going perfectly. But if you then lose this in a convincing fashion, even if you've only given up that 1 bullet and you go down to 6, it's still that kind of gut punch after an amazing start on day 1.
Yeah, I'm very keen to see the energy between these two teams in this matchup. A lot of vocal people inside of the server, probably the most infamous being Ashen from SSG. He was actually very quiet yesterday. Now, to be fair, inside of the server itself, he wasn't having an outstanding game. He was playing fine, but let the rest of the team inside of the server perhaps do the talking and maybe lock in a little bit more. I'm not too sure. But
well, I posed to you, who had the better win yesterday, SSG or DZ?
Tough question. I think in terms of, well, I was actually going to say in terms of difficulty of opponent, SSG taking on G2, but now that's maybe thrown into disrepute today off the back of Fnatic getting a 7-0, you know, very solid victory, and G2 find themselves in some sticky mud.
FearX beat G2 in a more competent fashion than even SSG.
Yeah. So I think it's probably too early to take too much away from those particular results, but...
Well, unfortunately, this particular headset issue is taking a little bit longer than we maybe anticipated. And it's just kind of the calm before the storm, if you will, whether or not we get underway shortly. I'm not entirely sure. Again, a reminder, DarkZero are defending, SSG are attacking. We are on Consulate. This is also the last match of the day here on the B stream. Don't fret though. Your Hay stream is
you got plenty more
behind.
There's plenty more action.
Plenty more action to come, which is great news. We'll be closing up shop early today, and for you and I, we get to kind of then sit back and watch the PSG M80 game.
Go back to the pool, watch the draft as well after the matches on the A stream.
Here, I want front row seats.
Yeah. The hotel room.
I want
the hotel
to be able to
food is a
listen
bit
to
better.
Fabian yelling.
Nah, the hotel food is better.
All right, we're getting underway as we've got the issue sorted. Into Consulate we go. Final match of the day for the B stream. DarkZero again defending first up. And for both of these two teams, it's just a matter of can they bring their day one form over to day two.
Split site, by the way, obviously.
Well, funny way to start things off for Consulate, yeah.
Mm.
That's not typical, is it? It's not normal. We don't necessarily see that all that often.
If you give me a moment, I'll go through some of the historical data and try and see just how many rounds have actually been played on this site.
It might be the whole round.
No. I promise you, I will find this stat before the end of the round.
I don't think you will.
You want to bet? I've got Dez's amazing tracker ready to go.
Reload 2 bullets.
Okay.
All right, keen for this one. And hopefully it does live up to the billing, because I would say W7M phase certainly did. That went 7-5. That was a good game.
I got it, by the way.
Oh, you've got it.
So
okay,
in the last year,
I'm 2 bullets down now.
In the last year, this site has been played on 19 occasions, and it has a 58% win rate for defense.
Okay, done their homework. Of DarkZero. How is SSG going to formulate their plan of attack? They've got J90 on the glass. They've lost Ashen, though. There goes your Maverick. You've still got, fortunately, 2 other hard breaches, so you're well and truly not going to be too upset with that, outside of the fact that you do lose the opening engagement. Fultz also cops half his health on the run back after the exothermic explodes. So, small wins to begin for DarkZero in the opening round. SSG, a little bit sloppy to begin.
Triple primary hard breach, so they do have backup options now, but SSG prompted to rotate. We'll seek map control now from Bathroom and the CEO half the map across, potentially. Look to maybe build some pressure from that perspective. But it is certainly going to hinder their pace. Elsewhere, Bender on the lurk inside of Visa.
Oh, gets caught as the Kiba barrier exploded. His position then became volatile.
From above as well. I mean, there's nobody from SSG anywhere near that position.
I mean, this is a wonderful start for DarkZero on the split site. They've had full control of this round. SSG just have basically scraped their way into the building. Still a Grismot mine as well in the pocket for Pambasu, so you can like to throw that one out later in the round. We saw some great Twitch work in the previous match for FaZe and W7M. We'll look to see if that does continue in this match as well, if it is going to be employed fairly often. .45 seconds left. SSG still trying to formulate a plan of attack despite being 2 players down and Fultz on half health. Absolutely vital that they get the next kill if they're going to have any chance, but I think time's going to be almost an even bigger factor at this point in comparison to the player difference. There was a chance there, Spirits with a little swing peek, but Fultz unable to get the kill. What he does do is he gets into towers and he can get the plant down.
Well, denial tough.
Yeah,
the line
cover.
being held.
J90 on the glass, making sure. Let's see whether or not anyone's heading over towards Spiral. As he watches that barricade get torn down from afar, he is very much ready and waiting. We are into a post plant. Nitrocell from Naif was successful, and I'm not sure exactly what Spirits is doing there. J90, it got himself a second kill here.
Oh, timing. New is now to try and lurk forward. 15 seconds. Keep that mind on that fuse.
Where's J90
able to
going?
get the kill. Naif taps it, but will fall off. Citizen needs to aid, but Naif
Gotta
does it
stick
all
it.
on his own, able to get it Just in time, can J9
He can.
deny? He will. Citizen unable to cover, and SSG have plucked this round from nowhere.
I mean, they've absolutely stolen that one. Blamed robbery to begin on Consulate. It was all DarkZero to begin. It was a 5-on-3. Half health as well on Faults. Some questionable decision-making from DarkZero. It just seemed like at the end they were running around like headless chickens. They panicked. As soon as that became a post-plant scenario, DZ panicked.
I think they were so confident positionally and strategically that the plant was never going to go down, that by the time it did, responding was a challenge. We saw the denial from the Nitro couldn't come into play because the coverage from SSG was clean. And then the control above became a little bit questionable. There was that weird duel over towards Spiral, which Spirits then eventually maybe didn't get a comm, or there was a miscomm or whatever, just ran straight into that same position down below and died. Uncontested. Yeah, a bit of a strange one to try and break down there, and DarkZero will be moderately frustrated.
I need a bit more yelling though from Ashen and SSG after that kind of round. I thought we were going to get some kind of trash talk. There was actually a comment in the chat.
But it wasn't on the stream, so we won't mention what it was, but it was quality. Oh, there we go. Thanks, medics.
Oh, thanks, medics. I mean, that's what you want, though, if you're SSG, because things were very sloppy to begin with. They really kind of struggled with the initial pressure from DZ. Ashen on the blitz this round, so a full change-up from triple hard breach to none for Spacestation. And that one's not exploding for Benja on the Flores. Rotero will not go off. It is stuck.
Ready to knock up.
Maybe posturing for a blitz skylight drop here.
Obviously no Warden in play. SSG banning that out.
And again, that does enable the Ying, which has been picked.
Playing into the bans very well at the moment, SSG. So Kendall is thrown out from Fault. He does keep one available. Nath actually sitting in the smoke that has been deployed towards top yellow. Oh, they've walked straight past him though. It's an easy double for Nath. Ashen and Benja not even questioning that positional hold towards yellow stairs. A 5 versus 2 becomes, though, a 4v2. As J90 on the glass, able to get just something. The hope is still there for SSG after they won the 3v5 in the previous round. Could do something similar here, but you're going to have to recover that diffuser, and it's not going to be an easy round to do that. And that should be... Oh, Newers!
Not again.
I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that should be an easy kill for Pampazoo, but no. And Newers and J90 have suddenly now made this somewhat winnable. Surely Citizen, with the yellow ping information, wins this battle. Yes, okay, that's job done. Crisis averted if you're DarkZero. And only 60 seconds left. This superstar player in Newers on his new roster MVP yesterday surely can't pull off the 1v3. Surely.
Well, there's still that yellow ping info, so... Newers' position very much known, and DarkZero will consolidate. Clean round defensively, spearheaded off the back of the double. Over towards that yellow stairs position. SSG looking to lean into the ward and ban, but the Ying not quite as effective as they would have liked. That blind spot not covered. And then put the rest of the round really into disrepute. Newers tries his hardest to break across.
He played that really well. Probably deserved the kill onto Spirits, to be honest, and was ready for the trade. But a great round. This is Kenny.
I love his energy.
It was a great round because it was a 5v2 and they were able to finish off the job this time, unlike the opening round. I mean, I'd say Kangaroo Kenny's probably sensing that this should be 2-0 for DZ. It's not. They're starting the rounds well. That's the main positive if you're DarkZero.
Yeah, I'm a bit perplexed as to how that set play was able to fall apart the way in which it did for SSG. You'd imagine they would have pre-droned or had information readily available for that yellow stairs push, unless the play is to try and overwhelm in time in the hope that you get that position and cut off the retake. That could also have been a potential option, so Credit to play made down below there from Nath. Rightly rewarded. Basement for round 3, mirror available, so in play as anticipated. As mentioned prior, SSG banning out the Kaid, and so that does expose this particular side a little bit to the hatch from above, and so the anticipation will be, especially with the castle in tow, that DarkZero will extend up above.
Well, 2 rounds, 2 opening kills for Nave, 5 and 2. Good start for him. Once again, J90 deployed on the Glaz.
RCE going out.
I think the test for me, well not for me, for SSG, for me, would be can they start to get a little bit more involved earlier in these rounds. You know, find a pick and stretch that DarkZero defense, force them to have to play undermanned. Makes it far easier to attack into these rounds. Inverted mirror.
Bravo Clutch drones as well in play into the Capcan, so just something to note. And J90 again will be looking to play off these smokes as he did in the prior round with limited success. Clutch drone focused currently on side information, and so maybe suggesting that SSG will look to focus their efforts a little bit more directly and towards the side itself and prep for a plant toward the breach. If they find that window though of opportunity, maybe relying on a lurk elsewhere for a bit of back pressure. Hatch opened above. Always find the first.
Well, that's better. That's what you want. And it's actually onto Nath as well, so he's been involved in all 3 opening engagements now.
Well, the problem is though, hard breach limited here for the attack.
And no Selmas remaining for Faults.
Wall is open.
But all opened up.
Just to keep a barrier obscuring it. I thought perhaps the wall was actually unopened, but not the case.
I think SSG are more than happy with the way things are playing out right now because they're starting to get J90 into a position where he can play the Glaz through the smokes. Citizen on the move, and he did end up finding that kill onto Benja, but Fault and Newers get 2 themselves. Slight advantage still for SSG.
Hatch still a concern. Spirit's the danger man up above with the UMP in hand. Minute on the clock. Faults, though, has been able to go deep. Over towards Cafeteria. Shorty in hand. Can Spirits find the Vert now left all alone? Well, the answer will be a resounding no. Spots one pillar, but gets turned on. J90, clean shot.
Yeah, clean shooting from J90 and a clean round from SSG. They got the opening kill, followed through in the remainder of the round. Pretty much a main breach hit where they really put to power that Glaz. 2-1, and yeah, back and forth to begin already for these 2 teams. DarkZero
Ying
unable to capitalize in that opening round, really the main deciding factor, and it's the Glaz that has been
Well, it's got to be the Glaz or the Ying. With the Warden banned out, you just don't have that tool available to hard counter, and clearly, as we've seen, the Glaz has probably been the more effective.
Just like, I'll go on the Kali.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but a little bit funny. And the smoke also banned out by SSG.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Oh, fun start to this one, though. Probably not the amount of trash talking as I was anticipating, but that's okay. Maybe we might get it towards the end of it.
No, we're just warming
yeah,
into
we're
things.
just warming up.
Early days.
It's early days. Wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being somewhat similar to the Phase W7M game, where we get some really high-quality siege and 2 teams that maybe don't want to show necessarily everything that they've got in the strat book.
Do we envision either of these 2 teams making a deep run into the 8? I mean, there's every world in which either can make the 8, but...
I mean, the thing is, right, like, we're kind of going off the back of just really day 1. Both teams ended up obviously starting very, very well. There was MVP, and so far, in terms of the siege we're already watching through 3 rounds here on day 2, again, you can really see we're starting to see North America really kickstart, this campaign in terms of the 25-26 season off on the best note. And the way things have started for these 2 teams, it really has to make top 8, and then how far can you go from there? I don't know if we've seen enough to really answer that question.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced they can take down Brazil, but I certainly think that they have Apex number, but maybe even can take a leap above at least the majority of EU at this event.
So far, though, intriguingly, SSG 3 rounds in, and no kills for Ashen, no kills for Benja, 1 kill for Fault, it's 4 for Newers, 6 for J90. Usually when we get that mid-game, it's a ping check, but we are on land.
Back to the split site again here for DarkZero. So backing themselves off the back of losing it last time, despite being in a very strong position towards the late round.
Slow to make contact at the moment in this 4th round.
Just looking to gradually take this space, try and suffocate the defense a little bit more. Citizen does find the opener though.
That's a big one onto Newers.
Especially the Deimos.
Oh, hello.
Unchecked.
Yeah, Naif just kind of sitting over towards server stairs and gets a freebie onto Fault, who very much wasn't ready for
timing.
it. The spray's a little bit off, but Ashen looking to get that plant down inside the server.
Not again.
Surely not again. 2v4, it will be a post plant. We've seen this story already play out so far for SSG on Consulate. This must be a round win for DarkZero. They cannot allow SSG to get another 2v4 post plant. Ashen on the blitz. Can he be a nuisance? And Benja's got the license on the Ash. Well, never mind. That has been revoked as Citizen finds his 2nd kill of the round. And Ashen by himself. Does he feel like he's been sneaky enough? Plays off the sound cue and may be able to at least deny one, and he will.
Oh.
12 seconds remaining. Really, the only way he should be able to win this is if there's not enough time to then get the diffuser, and Naif has eventually made his way up. And a couple of extra shots for good measure. A little nerve-wracking though if you're a DarkZero fan, because you've probably seen this story before, not that long ago even in this game.
I think a couple of those smirks are of
I think
relief.
also, Ashton played that really, really well.
Yeah, yeah.
He knew he only had one win con, played to it, and almost got the chocolates, but it's 2-2. DarkZero respond. They do not allow another calamity. And so far, not much separating these two teams. I would imagine that's the A-stream players.
It definitely wasn't Ashen.
Discover the location of a bomb.
So, round 5 then, as we prepare to propel ourselves towards the final portion of this half. Even game thus far. DarkZero finds success on the split site this time around. And SSG looking to recompose. Full suite of repicks here from the attack. It's very interesting operators that being brought into the fray. I thought perhaps we would actually see the sense stuck, but instead Ashen reverts back to Blitz, but Benja given the Nook license for this 5th round. Just the 1 kill for him so far in this match, so a little bit quiet, especially by his standard. Maybe SSG just sensing that they want a little bit more lurk threat around the map. Just try to find a little bit more pressure away from the objective to detract from the main push. Pretty remarkable that DarkZero is so competitive in this match when you look at Pamba and NJR both on 0 kills. Typically, when you see those kind of scorelines, it does indicate some weakness.
Pamba had a rough day as well yesterday.
Yeah.
Although so did Naif. Both of those two players, 79 and 74 EPS respectively. Naif, though, responding today, 7-3 after a great start. Pampas struggling a little bit. But it's a team game.
Yeah.
Right now it's 2-2, and that's all really that matters. I mean, it's just, like, honestly, even the SSG side of things, Ashen, Benja, Vault, all just with the 1 kill so far.
Does Benja find this pick lobby onto Citizen?
Yeah, Citizen close left in towards Lounge. Benja creeping over, although Citizen very much ready, but he couldn't get the kill. A little too trigger happy, and Benja able to escape with just a flesh wound. Citizen expecting, though, maybe a flank.
Yeah, Benja will just continue to lurk and try to maintain that phantom pressure below. Meanwhile, the rest of the team can continue to chip away at the vert control themselves.
Yeah, ramping up the pressure there, SSG, over the last 10-15 seconds. Just kind of dealt with a decent amount of utility, good control.
Time though will become a bit of an issue pretty quickly here, and DarkZero can peel yellow, I think.
Oh, this is a good push, though, from Ashen, and will get the kill. Bit of help from Faults playing behind the shield of the Blitz, and Citizen overwhelmed.
That now prompts the re-aggress from NJR above, looking to try and find something back.
They've only had an opening kill once so far in this first half, and they were able to convert that into a round win. And Ashen continues to just push forward, being super aggressive on this Blitz. He knows his role and what he needs to do. And that's And
Ooh,
JR,
gets a
I
kill.
thought that was stuck in the corner, but he was able to turn around and make the most of a rather difficult situation and finding that elimination. 3v3, 30 seconds, as close as it can be, and certainly one of the more competitive rounds that we've had so far. Can the plant go down successfully? Well, I think it was Ashen that maybe was going to be the one to be able to get that kit onto the floor. He has been eliminated. The Blitz now dealt with. Kit needs to be acquired. At this point, there's only 13 seconds left, Newers. You can't be too worried about down below, and Spirits has been able to win out anyway from Closet. Well, the round has gotten away from SSG. This time, they got the opening kill, but they could not convert. A stronghold from DZ.
Nice kill on the Blitz. Lovely stuff.
It was a nice kill on the Blitz.
I mean, that was...
And that changed the round.
Well, for me, the monumental moment even just prior to that was NJR backing himself into the corner there, yet finding a kill before going to the grave was really critical. If he gets caught there and the rest of the team then is able to be overwhelmed on the objective a little easier, it could have played out quite differently. Spirits as well showing great adaptability in that round. Typically known for being more aggressive on entry and mid-round, but his ability to anchor in the late round there was another big factor. So clean work there from DarkZero. SSG now forced to respond in an attempt to even out the half. Looks like they'll continue to commit with, I was going to say continue to commit with Blitz, but that won't be the case. Blitz played in 3 of these rounds thus far. Okay, Ashen back on it. So looking to implement it into this game plan. And the execute here, likely a set play with the Rayora into the mix, alongside both the Ying, which should be very impactful with the Warden off the board. Smokes from Newers as well, and the cap should also be quite helpful. So we'll see what they end up going for, if it's an admin cleared, or perhaps more direct CEO. Options are plenty here for SSG.
And we've seen, I think this is about the 3rd or 4th time now that we've seen Rayora throughout the 2 days played for us. Don't know if we've really seen it to its full potential. This very well could be a round in which we maybe see J9O really put it to good use. Benja holding over towards Breach. Cross was successful. Trying to go through. So far, a lot of these rounds have been largely, in the early portions, dictated by DarkZero. In the previous one, of course, an opening kill for SSG, but with a minute left on the clock. DZ are the ones that want to be aggressive. So far, that's been successful, and that's been working for them.
That's a massive drone, by the way, feeding a ton of info, meeting through to split. Will be really impactful in the late round in terms of what they want to go
This
for.
vending position is going to be difficult to clear with the ADSs there.
ADS charges now catching Capitao bolts, so much harder to clear.
Yeah, you can't lose Benja, and he has just been struggling in this game so far.
Double
Although
run
that
out.
is a super aggressive double run out, and Citizen's going to lose his life for it. You've pretty much just given them one back for free. Negating that opening kill for DarkZero. The panels have gone out there from J9O.
What are they posturing for? I guess covering this against the swing allows for a bit more freedom with the vending clear.
You've still got to keep an eye on it, because DarkZero themselves can open that. Over Spirits and vending, this is going to be a key battle. Spirits looking to maybe give that one up. There's only a minute left anyway. Deployable shield's still up, ADSs as well. Newers has all his bolts, and that's a big swing from Spirits. He retakes. Maybe just trying to lull SSG into the sense that he was going to give that position up. Instead, comes back for more, and he will benefit.
Really clean positioning and smart play there from Spirits. Nets DarkZero the
You've got to
advantage.
get this blitz into the building and get into action. There's 30 seconds left. Ashen needs to lead forward and help Fultz and J9O then play behind him.
Yeah, they have 2 Candelas. Eventually, probably going for a CEO window hit.
DarkZero have got the numbers and they've got the position. There's not a lot of pressure on them on site. Candelas will go out from Fultz. One over the table. Good read from Fultz, but the numbers are there for DZ. They can answer any push into sight, and there's only 7 seconds remaining in the round. J9O very low, so is Ashen. It really should be easy as pie for DarkZero. Really solid way to close out the first half. They take a 4-2 lead, and arguably, you go back to that opening round, it really should have been 5-1.
I think that's what Kangaroo was saying, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure he was literally just shouting out 5-1. I could have been mistaken, but yeah. He knows that that should have been the scoreline, but ultimately it's not, and so DarkZero now still need to be quite cautious on this attacking half, but that last round from them, fairly clean. Really like that vending hole and the reposition from Spirits was really, really nice. Forced the rotation from SSG, then DZ still having the Tachanka available late, able to deny the CEO plant position, default near the window, forced to go deep, players in the back line, positioned well. And overall, a pretty good half from them. So we transition over towards the second now. Kaid Warden off the board. Exact replicant of the first half, followed by the Blackbeard and the Ying. Last time out, it was the dog to be taken out in exchange. And so, in some respects, it's going to play out in a similar fashion. I do wonder if that was an anticipated ban there from SSG that DZ would also take Warden off the board, and so that's why they also took out the Ying. Again, I guess that's another thing to note with the new ban phase. It's now simultaneous. It's not taken in turns like days gone by. So excited to see how this will now play out.
And there's always that thought process too, as to what are they also going to ban later in the half?
Yep.
And how does that maybe combine as a combination of bans, or will it be? And that's kind of what I really like about this ban system, is you can kind of use it in many different facets. Preemptively, okay, we don't want to deal with these operators. Preemptively, okay, this person plays these operators, so we're going to target ban. Or strategically, we're going to ban this, and then we're going to ban that later.
And having a total of 3.
There's so many different ways that you can really use this system.
Yeah, you can really hone in on a specific type of operator. Not that we're really seeing it on this occasion. I mean, to an extent, right, that Warden Ying interaction, and by extension what we saw in the first half with the Glaz as well, I think changed up the dynamic quite a bit. So we could see something similar here. NJR picking the Glaz here for their opening attack.
Semblance of a roam lineup here for SSG on the defense to begin their second half. Something that DarkZero will need to be prepared for. DZ just happy to kind of take their time right now outside of the map. Kind of see what SSG are doing, get the drones in. Yeah, they've lost a couple so far.
Yeah, everybody's still outside the building looking to gather information, which has been impeded quite well here by SSG. You look at the lineup, right? You've got the Mute Mozzie combo plus Solace. Gaining that info will be quite challenging. Maybe DarkZero will then elect to go a little bit more direct in the face of that, but easier said than done with the vert hold, the line of sights, etc. Very tough on this objective.
This is where I really like Spirits on this DarkZero roster, because he can play one round on the Montang, and then on another round he can play the Blitz and be even more aggressive and completely just change it up. And then another round you can put him on a gun and get him to entry in. He's a super versatile player that just adds a huge layer of complexity for this DarkZero roster for other teams that they have to deal with now.
And the Monty is great into this lineup because you can get nearly risk-free info.
Speaking of the Montang, speaking he shall come, and Pampazoo catches J90, who was a little bit distracted by the Monty on the other side of the wall. Spirits then pulls out the pistol. It's an aggressive Monty. He goes to 9 kills, continuing his good work from yesterday. And DarkZero making rather swift work of SSG's defense until Benja got involved looking for just his second kill. He wasn't able to confirm it. Newers will do that for him. Makes it a 4 versus 2. The MVP yesterday in Newers is going to need to probably make an MVP performance if they're going to win this round. SSG, Spirits low, does have the diffuser in hand. Smoke goes out. Needs to keep that extended shield up. Newers was watching through the hatch. Can Fultz find anything from below? Yellow ping info, and because Spirits was so low, that shotgun was immediately able to get the initial down. Not finished off, never mind, went soon. Newers will claim it. 20 seconds, and indeed, very winnable for SSG.
This is such an awkward round with one below, one above. The vert pressure here from SSG is immense.
Nave caught on the run. He's able to acquire the diffuser. He can reposition inside a piano, find a different spot to get this down safely. There is cover, but is there cover from down below? Not necessarily. Oh, good cross from Citizen. Newers just sprinted. He hoped he could maybe at least just deny that plant from going down. Would have won the round. And Fultz now in a 1v3 post-plant. DarkZero, I think it may very well be a case of crisis averted. SSG threw one last Hail Mary at the end of that round, but it did not land.
Good fucking calls. Good fucking calls. Well played, Sam.
Kenny's exuberance always on full display when DarkZero win their rounds, and well, rightfully so. They lead 5-2 over SSG, and they're making this look rather easy. You go back again, that opening round should have been DZ. They have had total control of as we've continued on in this match.
Yeah, I love the game plan there from the attack, which was, let's initially go direct, play off the Monty, and that completely negates the Mute Mozzie plus Solace combination offsite. Then you run into the problem of the vert control, but we saw decent discipline in their ability to eventually get that plant down, and by being just patient enough to allow Citizen to go above and cut the cross for the top floor denial by planting on the marble and denying the player down below in basement, they were able to find that right balance.
This is
doing
why
so
they
3-round advantage.
This is why they reloaded 2 bullets for this match. DarkZero were confident coming in. SSG maybe not as confident despite their victory yesterday, despite having an MVP player yesterday. And you know what's intriguing about, I mean, there's always that fan view of DarkZero that they give their fans heart attacks. I don't know if they're having too many. I mean, actually, in this match, they've still had heart attacks even though they're 5-2 up. So I think they're still holding on to that a little bit.
There's a heart attack in the opening round. All the DZ fans have already dropped dead. But they've certainly refocused after that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been really clinical since then. It's been, 3-4 solid rounds in a row. They've got a nice lead. The old DZ would somehow choke this from here and really put them in the coffin. You've got to find a way to get Ashen and Benja involved here on the defense for SSG. Whether or not they get aggressive or hold back, play sight.
Nitro!
Oh, shot out. Well, quick work from Benja. But Benja, well, I mentioned Benja and Ashen, but they get involved. Ashen's Nitro does get shot, but Benja finds the kill onto NJR, and it's a big one onto the Grim. No quad hive launcher this round now for DarkZero. Nace just going to send it top yellow. And again, the versatility on display for DarkZero. 1 round at Spirits. Now it's Nafe on the Montang. You get Spirits on the Glaz.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of pieces of this lineup make sense. You have the Glaz in play with the Warden band out, the Monty on the table, because again, Mute Mozzie combination makes draining a challenge.
Oh, good nade. Great nade. And Ashen can't do anything about that one. They gave him no time to be able to react, and that's a really good kill for DarkZero.
Nothing you can do there. Maybe try and take one with you, but even then.
I think he kind of started to posture towards that window, thinking, I've got to swing this and see if I can get someone. But it was too late. Good response from DarkZero.
SSG still with double Nitro though, so plant denial is a strength for them. No gas babes remaining, however, and so SSG may find time management a little bit more challenging here.
Oh, big Nitro. You mentioned they still had some Nitro cells in pocket. Newis is able to land his onto Nave. Of all people, the Montang falls. That's a big part of the puzzle for DarkZero. Still time available to make something work. But unfortunately, Spirits had used his final smoke grenade. Who still had one? It was Nate. And he's no longer there. And Lewis and Benja are able to get firing. That's Kit. That's now a 4 versus 1. And that's SSG just saying to DZ, we're not done yet. We're still going to fight this one out.
A largely one-dimensional attack there from DarkZero, which can be okay if the Monty is standing, but once the Nitro landed...
It's a Monty-Glaz push.
Yeah. Once the Monty falls and the Glaz is not in a position to find a pick with those defenders playing quite safely around the likes of Split and CEO, it was always going to be a bit of a challenge. And then Pamba, to his credit, tried to go for the lurk, but bad timing there with the swing over towards Spiral. So just one of those rounds for DarkZero. Nothing to get too upset over. For SSG, an opportunity to just focus up a little bit. I think they'll be pretty happy with how they broke down the wing cons there for the attack. Basement will go for the next round. Scopos in play, Vigil as well. So expecting quite a heavy roam here from SSG. They have the anchor ops available in the Maestro and the Mirror to play down below with a bit of safety still.
Big round as well from Benja. Gets himself into the round. And even though Ashen didn't necessarily net much from that, he was more impactful with his positioning, utility usage.
He ate a grenade, so that was something.
He ate a grenade. And his Nitro got shot out, but it was the right idea.
My evil eye is your back.
So only the 2-round differential here. I mean, this is certainly still a good position for DarkZero to close out, but SSG will be hot on their heels on defense. You can really string those rounds together, really snowball. DarkZero going for the glass again, but this time minus the Monty. Again, more bans after this round. Something to consider.
I wonder what we'll see. I'm anticipating maybe a Glaz mute. I'm a little bit more confident in my Glaz call, but we shall wait and see. Mirror on the exterior.
Depends if SSG feel like they can either deal with it. Because if they win this round, then it's 2 rounds in a row that they've beaten the Glaz, right?
Ooh. Newer's opportunity goes begging to find a freebie. A difficult chance at that, but one that has gone begging.
I would be surprised if it's maybe even a Grim ban for SSG to go with the Ying, the Blackbeard. We'll wait to see after this round. So posturing towards main breach.
Impact trick. Newer's still lurking above in closet.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder what the Scopos is after, and he's just kind of happy to sit inside a closet right now.
Well, it's a rather heavy roam. 3 off site currently. As expected, the anchor duo of the Maestro and the Miro J90 faults respectively still basement. So we may see a 2-pronged approach here from DarkZero. Focus breach and then a lurk from behind.
Oh, the Scopos has actually been found and dealt with though, courtesy of Citizen.
Yeah, Newers must have hit another bad timing above.
Chipong rings out, DarkZero maybe sensing an opportunity to pounce. Just a clear on the backside from NJR to add an extra layer for DarkZero. So you've got main breach, but then you've also got one lurking through server. And this is a really good way to attack this site. Get that pinch if you can onto the defenders. Keep them kind of trapped in towards site. Put pressure on. So it's kind of like a 2-3 split right now for DarkZero. Really like this. Comes down to the execution though, first and foremost. And JR, oh, the timing of that one. The Bailiff was out temporarily. Good swing. Ashen does eventually go down. Thought the Vigil maybe could have got one. The timing is everything in this game at times, and a chance still for faults. No, he was given a slight reprieve, but this may end up being flawless. Indeed, it will be. DarkZero have got themselves 3 match points. Ashen was this close to maybe getting a freebie on to NJR, but a well-deserved couple of match points here for DarkZero, being the better of the 2 teams in this game.
So 1 more additional ban per side as we prepare for round number 10 and 3 match points for DZ. Vault Glaz. That was right on the Glaz. Who did I say for defense? I can't remember.
Not too sure. I mean, we haven't really seen the Valkyrie, have we? I don't think so. But it is Consulate.
I said mute. To try and maybe break apart the mute Mozzie combo a little bit. We saw Valk back in round number 8, just that solo appearance here in the second half.
And essentially, a double timeout. Coaches get to talk during the ban phase, and then straight after that into attack as well. So it's almost like a slightly extended tactical timeout here for SSG, and really the best time to call it as well, considering you're 6-3 down now. I mean, if DarkZero were able to close this out 7-3, it's a pretty resounding win against an SSG roster that looked really, really strong. And the good news, though, for SSG is they only wagered the 1 bullet, minimizing the damage of this potential loss.
Yeah.
And the good news, even more so for DarkZero, is they wagered the maximum amount of 2. Well, that's going to benefit them absolutely greatly. They'd go to 10, they would be tied first, which, of course, is the max amount you can get after the first 2 days.
Mm-hmm. Well, not necessarily. If you had a flawless victory, you could have actually...
Yeah, no, guys, that's why they pay you the big bucks. And we did see a flawless victory today, of course. Fnatic able to achieve that one.
Oh, back to the split site.
Split again. Ashen playing that Vigil, though, he's going to have to be impactful. This has to be his round. Play the roam game, split site. You've got to have impact somewhere later in this round. And a massive change-up in terms of attacker repick for DarkZero. They bring the Sands, they bring the Ram this time around.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Double hard breach, and then the Dockerby. Pretty good standard on a split site like this, where you know there's probably going to be some level of roamers.
Bomb located by attackers.
So can DarkZero close this out, or have they got some more heart palpitations for their fans? Because if they do close this out, this would be a very dominant display going into day 3 after this.
Yeah, I agree. Ashen with quite the responsibility in this round. If the initial posturing from DarkZero is anything to go by, there will be some attempt at clearing this portion of the map, and so Ashen needs to try his best in wasting as much time on that CEO/yellow stairs portion of the map. Just slow down that push. Try and sow some seeds of doubt.
The Boogie Auto Breacher just getting to work there, opening up the floorboards. Looking in towards Towers. Oh no, Bolts. Oh, very fortunate to get away from that one. The drone hole, not a safe position to go prone.
Yeah, very fortunate to get away with that. I mean, they're now potentially posturing for a play here with the ROU. Maybe used in such a way that they can facilitate a more direct hit above it in towards Towers, especially if Pamba has a read that admin itself is clear. They don't have to worry as much about the pressure from above.
And it's Citizen and Spirits both with double-digit kills. The two new boys on this roster solidifying their position. Just under a minute and a half. Time just slowly ticking away. ROU to block off the window.
Okay. Makes it a challenge then for Benja to contest.
Has been found by Spirits as well towards Piano on the Docker, being a Logic Bomb about to ring as well. So more pressure to come now for SSG. Ashen must somehow get involved here, but no, falls to Spirits as well.
Wow.
DarkZero slaughtering SSG on Consulate, making a big North American statement that they very well want to be the kings of NA once again. Nafe will fall though. Benja by himself at a 1v4. It's not going to happen this time. SSG unable to back up day 1, but for DarkZero, they go top here at Reload. All 10 bullets after 2 days of action. And this new look, DarkZero, is looking very, very strong.
DZ playing some very smart Siege this afternoon, putting on a pretty clean strategic masterclass outside of really putting a foot wrong, maybe in that opening round, right, where they let it slip away. Outside of that, across the board, dominating their opponents, and SSG finding it difficult to formulate a response. Fortunately for them, though, as you have mentioned a couple of times, just the one bullet. So a minimum loss for them, but a loss nonetheless.
I love the music. I'm a big fan of the music. No offense to people who love jazz, like at Boston, I'm just kind of like, I want something a bit more hype, you know, we're getting that. This match itself was pretty hype, especially if you're a DC fan. As we've kind of said, though, for SSG, they only wagered the one bullet anyway, so it's not really the end of the world. They'll walk into tomorrow still in a good position. If you want to find positives, I think they could have played so much better, right? Like, there's more in the tank there for SSG. Ashen with a very quiet day. I thought Newers was, again, able to at least back up a little bit of that MVP performance. Not quite, obviously, to the same level, but he was still able to be consistent. But Citizen, Spirits, talk about consistency there, especially from Spirits. He was kind of the talk of the town for TC yesterday, and he will be even more the talk of the town coming after today's result, going into day 3 tomorrow. And DC's the kind of team that, like, I just don't see who would want to pick DZ right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, as you mentioned, right, Spirits has been so impactful. Just had a quick glimpse at his stats as well today. 90% cost, so just consistently having impact. And I think
played Monty, played Glaz.
Yeah, the adaptability factor, right? Whether it be attack or defense, he was able to morph into a couple of different roles and be really effective.
Citizen as well was able to go and find himself 3 opening kills, so you've got that avenue kind of sorted. I know Nafe also got 2 opening kills, and that really was, I think, one of the big factors in this match was you had 2 players go and get 5 opening kills in a relatively quick game. You know, it was only 10 rounds played, so that's like half the game. Only 2 players were able to get half of the opening kills, and that was from DZ. So they really dominated the early portion of these rounds. That meant SSG pretty much on the back foot for the majority of those rounds. Yep. I mean, dare I say, for DarkZero, hard to not give them that #1 crown position from North America at the moment. And they're looking like a core 5. You know, there's no Bolo focus, there's no Kobe slander or anything along those lines. You've got 2 new additions that have slotted in nicely, and the other boys are still playing very well as well.
Yeah, and I think if and when Pamba fires up a little bit and is able to have impact in terms of scoreboard as well, that's going to be really, really dangerous. So I think DarkZero certainly have many eyes on them at the moment, as I kind of posed before. Maybe SSG a little bit more now in doubt, but I look at both teams as being top 8 contenders. It's whether or not, can they take that next
I don't
step?
lose too much from SSG today.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But can they take the next step? Top 8, great.
Yep.
Top 4 on the cards. Can one of these teams maybe make a grand final? That's what North America is really looking for.
Alrighty, well, we are done for the B stream today, but again, fret not, Siege is not done. We're going to be sending you over to the A stream coming up soon. PSG Talon M80.